Okay, now that we have our model set up, let's move into Solver. So we go up into Data, go to Solver, and so what are we trying to do? We want to maximize our profit. So we're going to come here, we're going to go to our total profit. Notice it's still showing as a objective cell, but that's okay because once we get into and out of it, it'll come back. So changing variable cells. So it's all of these cells. These are all what it's allowed to change. So the number on line 1, number on line 2. Now, if I leave it like that, it'll just come up like with that. But since we did put in some range names, what we could do is we could sit here and go number tested on line 1, hold control, number tested on line 2. And so now when we go to do that, let's add a constraint, let's cancel, so it pops it back. So see, now it says number tested on line 1, number tested on line 2. If I didn't do that, if I would have just left in B19 to I20, it would have just said B19 to I20. So it's nice to, at least we can be able to see things. Let's add in our constraints now. And so the first one is the total number of computers produced has to be less than or equal to the maximum sales that we have. We'll add that, and then the other one is all of our hours used has to be less than or equal to hours available. And hit OK, and so there we have it. Now, as we can see, not a lot of constraints here. Let's make unconstrained variables non-negative and make sure that we've got this on simplex LP. Okay, and so that should be everything that we need. Let's hit solve. And Solver found a solution. All constraints and optimality conditions are satisfied, so we are happy about that. Let's look at, we'll pull up the answer and sensitivity reports to take a look at those. Hit OK. Let me auto do J. So we will make $615,812.50 by making this mix. Now notice, we're not making all the computers. We're only making a few of them. So Model 1, Model 4, Model 6, and Model 7. So it is interesting to take a look and see what constraints are binding. And so for us, if we look at it, the maximum sales constraints of Computer 1, Computer 6, and Computer 7 are all binding. And let's see, if we look at hours, we can see that our assembly hours and testing for line 1 are maxed out. We didn't max out line 2, which is kind of interesting. We're paying more for line 1, so it's basically, it seems to be a more efficient line all around. So let's go and we look at the answer report, and we're looking at our constraints, and we can see we've already pointed this out, what our binding and non-binding constraints are. But once again, it is useful to take a look at that, and we can go into the sensitivity report, and we discussed this in the last problem. We don't really need to go through that. But so this was just an example of a model where we're using a much larger mix of products. And there we go. So if you have any questions, please let me know. Otherwise, I'll see you in the next video.